Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian from Cinemageddon Reviews, and what a wild couple of weeks this was on account of the one villainous scene event that transpired. It really gave me a chance to try out new material that I've wanted to talk about forever, and I'm very happy to see how positively received they were. This gave me plenty of confidence to move on with our big project that was recently announced, but for now, allow me to take a few minutes of your time to talk to you about something sweet, wholesome, and probably one of the best things to come out of Netflix's vast array of anime with, charitably speaking, inconsistent levels of quality? Anyways, hang on. This movie was released theatrically? Alright! In that case, welcome to another exciting episode of Stories from the Wasteland. This is where I go into COVID-infested movie theaters in order to look at new releases and determine whether they're worth your time and money. Today, we're going to be pretending that Netflix has more than just Devilman and Shaman King as examples of good original anime, as we talk about one of the sweetest anime films I have ever seen. Especially since I'm still recovering from the heartbreaking ending of the damn Demon Slayer movie.
全国さんは負けてない。誰も死なせなかった。戦い抜いた。守り抜いた。お前の負けだ。煉獄さんの勝ちだ。
Anyway, this is Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. Produced by Sublimation and Signal MD and directed by Kyohei Ishiguro in his film debut, Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop tells the story between two teens who meet one day after hijinks ensue, and form a friendship that slowly blossoms into a bubbly romance hindered by each's own insecurities. Cherry, real name Yui, is a shy introvert with a wonderful talent for haiku who has trouble communicating and hides behind a pair of headphones in order to avoid conversation with those around him. And Smile, real name Yuki, is a social media butterfly with a large following who wears a mask out of embarrassment due to her braces and buck teeth. These two adorable idiots bring up the best in one another, and slowly each one begins to change and develop as their friendship strengthens every single day, accompanied with some of the best music you will ever hear in any animated movie ever, Japanese or otherwise. Words truly do bubble up whenever I talk about this movie. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop is an absolute gem, one that happens to be 100% pure, wholesome fluff with no fan service, no third act contrivances, or even really any risque content to it whatsoever. Hell, the English dub doesn't even have any swearing.
I'm gonna kill that punk!
Except for that one. The fact that this movie has a G rating on Netflix is kinda hilarious in hindsight. Honestly though, this is legitimately a great film and a wonderful feel-good slice of life story. This movie is exactly the kind of romance film that I always search for but can never actually find. Very rarely do you come across teen romance stories that feel so real, so sweet, and so irresistible to watch. What really struck with me though is how accurate the movie portrayed teenage insecurity, and how it affects us and our way of thinking. I'm an extremely introverted man myself. If possible, I will avoid human contact because I don't really like being around people because I get awkward and don't really know how to respond. Sometimes you can feel like a third wheel and nobody really remembers that you're even there. So it's always better to just hide away and be on your own. At least for me, that's how it felt. Humans are social creatures and without social interaction, our minds can literally go crazy. Some people like me, for some reason, prefer just to be alone, even though we know for a fact that that's not a good thing. I found both Cherry and Smile to be perfectly relatable because they don't serve as husks for us to project ourselves onto, but rather as people we know or met or people we can relate to. We may not be the same person, but we understand each other perfectly, especially when it comes to Smile. Braces are a godforsaken nightmare to have to deal with, and I had to deal with that shit twice in my lifetime. That fear of being alienated, especially when your image is part of why so many people who probably shouldn't really matter in the first place recognize you so much, is one that many of us are willing to hide and alter in order to fit in. Kyohei Ishiguro is no stranger to writing teen romance and dramas, as before he directed this movie, he directed the anime adaptation of Your Lie in April, which is one of my favorite anime of all time and one that had me going from this to this. after experiencing trauma once, you kind of just naturally become hard-headed and strong. 1 second. Okay. Thankfully, words bubble up like soda pop doesn't end with me needing to phone my therapist. Like I said before, the movie is purely a wholesome slice of life. However, if one can point to a slight negative in this movie's favor, is that the film doesn't really have a conflict. Things happen and we, the audience, are invested to see where they go, but not a whole lot of it is suspenseful, dramatic, or heavy. I know it's not fair to compare, but this is a far cry from the impending doomsday plaguing the third act of Your Name. That's not to say that the movie is boring. It knows exactly what kind of story it is, and unlike so many annoying romance stories that follow the same formula every single time, how the hell does this guy manage to make the same story over and over again? This one manages to feel fresher and more relatable simply because it isn't trying to be a teen romance. At its core, Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop is a slice of life story first and a romance second. The insecurities and complications that our characters deal with are exactly the kind of story a man like Ishiguro is known for making. The romance serves as a great bit of progression to our characters, who are each living a life similar to another one of the characters in the film, showing that love blooms for anyone at any moment in time, no matter what the circumstances are. The movie ends on such a beautiful and happy note, not just for our main characters, but for one in particular who has probably the most interesting life out of anyone in the film. An aging owner of a record store who walks around the mall carrying an empty vinyl record sleeve for a record he lost. This record is from a song written and sung by a woman from his past whom he had a strong connection towards, and the movie's amazing music helped give this backstory a more bittersweet layer to it that I just don't want to spoil. Much like Your Name, music is an important part of the story and it helps to give the movie its own identity. By the end of the film, even after the endearing credits have ended, which by the way, you should totally watch all the way to the end for, the film ends on such a beautiful note of joy and optimism for everyone involved that it will help you believe that true love can exist if we are willing to face our insecurities head on. This is a beautiful, wholesome movie for everyone and I seriously cannot recommend it enough. I'm gonna give Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop a 9 out of 10. The film was only released theatrically in Japan, but was made available worldwide on Netflix. So if you want to brighten up your day with something wholesome and sweet, now is your time to do so. And that's all the time for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you see here and you would like to see more, be sure to like, share the video with your friends, and subscribe for more content. And if you would like to support the show, then check out our Patreon page for bonus content and exclusive rewards, including the chance to be able to request for a movie or show for us to review in the future. As always, I'm Sebastian from Cinema Beginner Reviews signing out, and I'll see you on the wasteland.